Hello and welcome to week 4 of Nurture Nature. This week is a home week and everybody is going to make a bunch of flowers or a pot of flowers, and we're going to put them together into a garland like this. So the idea is everyone does one little bunch of flowers or plant, and then you bring them back into the group for week 5, and we're going to string them together and post them out somewhere, maybe to a care home or something, so they can hang over the mantelpiece. So the final result will look something like that, but what you're doing today is going to look something like that. We're going to use collage, and you can also add in some of the print and stenciling that you did last week. And also you might want to use some wax resist technique, so we can have a go at mixed media for this plant project. You've got a list of all the materials you might need there. It depends a bit what you're going to actually do as to which materials you definitely need. But here you definitely need glue and scissors. So I've got glue and scissors, just put them there. Selection of collage papers. Put those out the way for now. Some from your kit and some you've collected, hopefully. If you're going to do printing and stenciling, you'll need your acrylic paints and your sponges. If you're going to do the wax resist, you need your wax crayons. Put those over there for now. You might want your watercolour paints and brush and water, and you might want to use some stamps and stencils that you have already made. So what I'm going to do is put those there and start off with a bit of watercolour and making a background. Now you can do your design full size A3, that would go the other way up, or you can do it sort of half size like A4. I'm going to use the A4 size for this because it fits onto the demonstration better. So I'm using the A3 sketch pad, but I'm sort of going to be doing a design that's about half the size. So I'm using some very wet watercolour now, and I'm just imagining that this is like a plant or a bunch of flowers. So I've used one of the reds there. I'm going to use the other red, mix it in a bit. I'm not painting flowers, I'm just sort of setting a background out. The paint's very wet and the colours will sort of blend together. I'm going to put some yellow in now and just sort of mix it about. It's just to give the paper a bit of a background, and I'll show you how it works in a minute. So a bit of messing about with the watercolours just to give yourself a background, so you're not working on a plain white background. I've got a sample here that I did on a white background and it's very nice, but after I'd done it I thought it would look better if we had a bit of a coloured background. So without mixing this green too much in with the red, I'm just going to put little bits of green in. If it mixes with the red, you'll end up with a whole load of brown. So now that's nice and watery and it's just a background. I'll probably put a pot over there, but we've got something to work on. So I'm going to put that one to the side to dry, and underneath here and upside down by the look of it, I've got one that I did earlier, the same kind of background. So you can start off by doing that if you want to. You can work on a white background if you prefer. I'll show you in a minute. So I've got this sort of background, let it dry, and you can see I've got these lovely watercolour effects because I used it quite wet and the colours have mixed together a bit, and we've got these nice outlines. So I've also cut out lots of bits from my collage paper, and I've also printed and stenciled. So this is my dandelion stamp that I made on printing week, and it's inspired by dandelions that I've seen outside. They're all over the place at the moment. I've got some other little yellow flowers there from a stencil, and I've made this stamp just using a piece of old textured wallpaper, and I thought that would make a nice plant pot. So I've printed some on coloured paper, some on white paper, stenciled and stamped things that I might want to use. Again, we're trying to use things that we've seen outdoors, and I have seen lots of dandelions and lots of bluebells at the moment, so I've got those in my samples. So there, I've cut out a plant pot shape from a piece of paper that I've stamped that wallpaper on. And for the plant pot, I'm going to just glue it down a little bit, just at the bottom. Mostly, I'm not going to glue anything down till we finish, but I'm going to glue the plant pot just with a bit of glue at the bottom there, just to sort of keep that in place while I arrange my bouquet or pot of flowers. I've then cut out a couple of bits here from some of the wax resist technique that we used for the birds. And I'm thinking I'm going to decorate my plant pot a bit by putting, so it looks like a ribbon around it and a bow at the front there. So I could glue that down, but I'm just going to leave that for now. I've also cut out all sorts of bits here. So this is just a circle of tissue paper. I might decide to put that there. This is a stencil that I've cut out, and this is a little flower from a sheet of wrapping paper, and that makes a nice flower. If it needs a stalk, I've cut these like little grassy bits just out of a magazine page like this, where it had lots of greenery on it. So I could put that little flower on a stalk. At the moment, I'm just laying things down. I'm not actually going to stick anything yet. This is a piece of handmade paper from a previous project. I've cut that out, looks quite nice. I'm going to pop that in the pot. Here's a plant that I cut out of the seed catalogue. Just stick that in there. Just gradually building up the plants. Now I've got some of those dandelions that I cut out. I like these. I'm going to put a couple of those in, maybe poke one at the back there. And I've also cut some little, just the centre bits out, which are quite nice. And you could put maybe one of those little flowers from the wrapping paper in. So already it's beginning to look quite nice. I think it needs a bit more greenery, so I'm going to put another piece of grass there. I might decide to leave that like that, but I might just pop it underneath. So this is why it's best not to stick everything down to start with, just keep arranging it. Now I don't want to take it too far out because I've got this sort of painted background. I think I've probably almost got enough in there. I'm going to put a stalk for that little flower there. Lift that up. I could maybe, I need something else, I don't know. You know, just play about with things. And I've got some blue, little blue flowers here that I cut out. I could maybe add those if I fancied something a bit different colour. Again, these are made with the wax resist. Put one down there. So keep playing about with it, and then when you're happy with your design, I'm going to just put one of those little flowers, just another little pink flower here somewhere. When you're happy with your design, then you can stick it down, and it is a bit difficult to get it all back in exactly the same place, but you can start by just sticking a little bit. So if I wanted that piece of grass to stay there, I could just put a little bit of glue just there. So that's not all stuck down, but then it will stay in the right place when I move things about. This little flower here, I could take that out and stick it together first. So I've got the little bit of wrapping paper going inside the cutout stencil, going inside the piece of tissue. So that's quite a nice little layered flower. I didn't put glue on the back there, but you could glue that down. So really, that's it for this week. I'll show you the other example that I said about, but cut out lots of bits and pieces first that you think you might like to use. Start with the base, so it could be a pot. You might want to do it just with a bow or something, and just glue that at the bottom so you can add things to it and build up your bouquet or pot of flowers. Don't cut them out, leave them on the big sheet, because I'll cut them out to make the garland next week. This is a gift card that I got, which I thought, that's just the same kind of thing there. You could even put a proper little ribbon on it if you wanted to. And this is the other one that I've done, which is going to sort of be the wrong way up, but you should be able to see most of it, I think. So in this one, I've taken the bluebells as my inspiration, and I've cut these out of a piece of paper that I just sponged with paint. I've used stencils here. I cut out a little flower stencil You know how we cut them on the fold, cut some little flowers out, and I've stenciled those. This was some wrapping paper that had all these lovely leaves and things on, so I've cut the leaves out of there. This is wax resist feathers from the birds, and then I've printed with a stamp that I made like some grass just in white over the top. I've got a bit of glitzy wrapping paper for the pot. I don't know if you can see that, but I think it's kind of nice with having a painted background to start with. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoy it. Next week we're going to look at starting to design our final collage piece, but have fun this week making a bouquet or pot of flowers like this. Bring them back on week 5 on your piece of A3 paper. They can be full size A3 or half size, so we can string them together into a garland. Hope you have fun doing that, and I'll see you next week.